Nigerians, nobody on earth go fit tell Tinubu wetin dis man just tell am for your face for inside dis video. Dis man don expose Tinubu. Nigerians, make una no make mistake 2027. If Tinubu win 2027 election, we are in trouble. We are in trouble because after listening to wetin dis man dey expose for inside dis particular video about the happenings in dis country, and Tinubu still win 2027 election, make una lis ten and make una share the video because dis man make a lot of points for inside dis video.
He had some comments, a lot to say. That video went viral everywhere, on President Tinubu. He said President Tinubu has morphed from a Democrat into a dictator. And in his own opinion, the president shouldn't go for a second term. He should go take care of his health. I mean, if you said all you wanted to be was to be president, you've achieved that. For the sake of the country, let's go and go take care of it. I want you to respond to that.
I'm one of the first Nigerians who openly said that the greatest service Tinubu will render this country is not to have been president. After you achieve your president, please don't run again. Please. For this country, for your own sake, don't run again. And I'm still saying so. He has nothing left to offer. You've been president for 4 years. The records will always show you were president. You didn't do very well. The statistics that you dish out will tell you that, did reforms and they paid out. The reality on the ground is that you're quite possibly the worst president Nigeria ever had.
Really, sir?
Yes. I mean, look, the problem is the disconnect between the government and the people. Catholic bishops went to the president. These are highly respected people. He must have thought, this is a good outing for me. Otherwise, he wouldn't even have agreed to meet them. Everybody knows them. They went to him, politely said to him, Mr. President, the people are not happy with you. They are hungry. They are insecure. There are a lot of problems running in the country. For every issue they raise, he said, no, you're wrong. I am right. There is no hunger in this country. What you're saying is not true. Now, for goodness sake, a president in charge of his faculties, in charge of a country that should have prepared him, would not do this. You could say, well, there are issues about hunger and we acknowledge the fact that our reforms have failed to yield dividends. They're either long yielding or they've suffered from design problems or implementation problems. No. He says no. The Nigeria you're painting is not the Nigeria I know. Now, so we have to ask the question, what Nigeria do you know, sir? Which Nigeria do you live in? You live in a Nigeria that lives in your head. And the ones that people tell you, oh, you're a great president, sir. You're doing everything right. And who are these people? The people around him in the villa, all the politicians he had gathered in his room in anticipation that in 2027 he can come back and win an election again. Everybody is telling him, sir, you're the greatest president in this country. I mean, it will take a superhuman not to believe that kind of thing. And yet, the more he believes that his reform is on course, he has done well, okay, it may take some little time to show, but we've done well. Well enough in 3 years' time to make this country more unlivable. A lot of security is becoming worse. Poverty is becoming worse. Young people are losing faith that this country will ever be good enough for them to live in. This is the Nigeria is leaving behind. So how else do you judge President Tinubu other than the fact that he satisfied a personal ambition to be president, and beyond that he did nothing?
We will interrogate the meeting between the bishops and the president and the response of his team in particular. But back to Babachi Lawal, sir. I asked him, because he told me he got scholarship, And the process by which he got the scholarship was really interesting, But my point is this. So I asked him, I said, the education system now, and then the former SGF says he's totally disappointed with northern governors. Because the North is the headquarters of out-of-school children, poverty, extreme poverty, misery, mortality, infant and maternal mortality. That's where it's in the North. So he says because the governors of the North have simply lost their patriotic fervor. He says that the last serious government or governor we have had in the North is the Audu Bako era of governors.
Yeah.
How do you respond to this?
Well, he's absolutely right. Like I said, if there's any part of Nigeria that has two parts of Nigeria, to be fair, the southeast and the north, they lost massively in terms of the contribution of the kind of leadership they had. You know this Bishop Onayekon?
Yes.
We grew up with this story that in 1962 he graduated as the best student in the entire northern Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And he grew up. He grew up in this tiny little area. I think it was in either Kogi or
Kogi State.
Kogi State. And the Sultan of Sokoto had a habit. Every child who comes first, he will personally go and visit him. So he asked, and they told him, "Oh, the best student who in the north lives in Kogi State." And the Sultan said, "We'll go and see him." And they went there by road to the village where,
exactly.
and the village, the community was out there. They didn't know how to receive the premier. They've never seen premier like that before. And he was there, and he said, "I came to congratulate you, and well done, my son." And what do you want to be when you grow up? And he was taken aback. He said, "I want to be a Catholic bishop." I said, "Not a doctor? No. Not an engineer? No, I want to be a Catholic bishop." He said, "You will be a Catholic bishop." And I understand that the regional government, headed by a Muslim, the grandson of the Shehu Danfodio, supported him to the limit of what it can.
Absolutely.
My generation and 2 or 3 generations below, virtually everybody under me, except maybe in the last 30 years, will tell you they went to school substantially because of the vision and the commitment of leaders to provide a foundation for them to go to school. None of us was deprived from going to school because his parents had no money for this thing. Now, so the northern leaders have a lot to be account for. They are deeply discouraging. I mean, they are deeply disappointing.
Absolutely.
So basically, that is what it is. But Babachir was right. We went to school literally free. They even gave you money to spend. Apart from giving you free education, free everything, they gave you money to buy nice shoes.
In the 70s.
Yes. We all did. And then when you finish, that's a job for you because the economy is expanding, the social services are expanding, and they are looking for people with education. So they dropped the balls. The last 30 years have been the worst in the history of the North, and they don't understand it. This bulging population, the failure to talk honestly to people, the North should speak to itself. Do we really need to continue to produce children that we can't cater for? Are we really being fair to this generation? Shouldn't we address fundamental failures of leadership in this country? We are hoping in the PRP that we can engineer some kind of serious dialogue in the North, even if it is between generations, that will say to the Northerners who should speak to the Northerners, stop blaming the Tinubus of this country and saying, "Oh, you are taking away everything." Tinubu is taking away what the North owned, or the rights of the North to the Southwest, because the North is not resisting, and the North is not resisting because the people who should resist have capitulated.
Absolutely.
They are all in his camp now. So who do you want to say to Tinubu, what you are doing for the North? Look at Sokoto. There's hardly any day now, and Katsina, there's hardly any day now when people are not killed, or hardly any. Read any paper and you see this. Those 32 governors, 18 of them from the north. Only one governor is not in Tinubu's APC. Who is to say to Tinubu, something is wrong with the north? Please fix something in the north. They wouldn't dare. Bishops went, including bishops from the northern part of the country, and they said, Mr. President, something is wrong with Nigeria. And he says, no, you are reading all wrong. There's nothing wrong with this country. But fundamentally, if the north wants to fix itself, the north needs to speak to itself. Look at yourself. What are you doing wrong? All the power is centered around governors, all of it. Now, if these governors now also decamp and say, no, to hell with what is going on in the north, we want to be re-elected, so we want to go and become cheerleaders to President Tinubu, then the north is finished.
Doctor, before we leave this issue, you touched on something which I also referenced about Babachi Lawa. Babachi Lawa is a minority Christian, made a first class in a Muslim, northern-dominated part of Nigeria. Nobody discriminated against him. Like you said, a Muslim northern premier, northern governors did not say, oh, no, please, we don't want that kind of, don't promote that. How did we get to the point where, I mean, in Nigeria now, we came up with, the North is educationally disadvantaged. So we came up with federal character, we came up with quota system. So if unity schools are doing admission, we lower the bar. Universities will lower the bar. As if the northern children are different from southern children, southeast children or south children or southwest children. Doctor, I still go back to it. How bad did northern leaders fail?
Very badly. Very badly. I teach history and politics. And I always tell people this story. When in 1959, the elections, it sounds very far away, but it's as relevant today as it was then. The party, the NPC, which was the Northern Party,
exactly,
they won the election. And the leader of that party was supposed to have gone to Lagos to become the prime minister.
Absolutely.
And people said to the president, when are you going to become prime minister? He said, I don't want to be prime minister. They said, what? You are the leader of the NPC. You're supposed to go and head this country. And he said, no. I want to stay here with my people in the north because the challenge here is greater than fixing Nigeria. Other people can do that. I have somebody else who is intellectually good or better, and that's how Abubakar Tafawa Balewa went there. Now that is sacrifice, that is vision, and that is commitment. Everything that happened then, there were a few mistakes they made.
Of course.
They were human, but from that era, during that era, we saw real commitment. They told him in 1961, he wanted to build a university. They told him he can't do that. He said, why? They said, you don't have the money, you don't have the resources, and you don't have the students who would even go.
Exactly.
If you do that, if you build a university in the north, 90% of the students for the first 10 years, years of that university, you'll be training people from the southern part of the country, because only people from the southern part of the country get qualified. The people who qualify from your region are very few. And he asked a few people to set up a committee to advise him. And they came back to him and said, Mr. Premier, you asked us to advise you on whether the law allows you to establish a regional university. He said, yes. They said, yes, the law allows you. But you have massive constraints. He said, like what? He said, you don't have the money to build a university. If you want a university, you can build one, but it has to be multi-campus. You have the Nigerian College of Arts and Science in Zaria. You have the College of Administration in Congo, in Zaria. You have the IAR Institute of Agricultural Research in Zaria. You have to build other campuses elsewhere. That's the only way you can have a university. He said, we can do that? They said, yes. So they said the biggest problem is you don't have enough students from the north graduating with the qualification to get into university. He said, why? He said, well, two things. One is that the only examination that allows people to get into university It's written in the south by Southerners, and there's very few of your people who make it. And he said, well, okay, so what do we do? They said, well, if you build a university on your own, you can train people, but they will come from this southern part of the country. But eventually you'll produce enough people.
Exactly.
And he went away and thought about it. And he said, let's build it. 10 years, you said. They said, yes. 10 years. Northerners will catch up. Will catch up. 6 years into the 10 years, he got killed. So other Northerners stepped in. Technocrats, powerful Northerners in government. They quickly got together and thought, let's create an alternative to that system that allows only a tiny number of people from the north to get in. This way, larger numbers of Northerners will qualify with the same qualification as HSC, higher school certificate then. And that's how they created the School of Basic Studies.
SBS.
Yes, and SBS, same standard, same qualification, same requirement. SBS started recruiting in hundreds. And within 3 years, the population of the northern students and vis-a-vis southern students was reversed.
Wow.
It was almost 70 to 30. Now, this tells you the values of commitment and vision and decision making that prioritizes the child of the poor.
Exactly.
And I can tell you, I think I was the third set of the School of Basic Studies.
Wow.
In my year, 650 of us started.
Wow.
620 finished degree courses.
Oh, really?
Within 4.5 years.
Wow.
And I don't think there were more. There were children of ministers. There were children of everybody. Nobody cared who your father was. And the thing about it was that we felt a strong sense of obligation. We knew how we got there. We knew it had nothing to do with whether our fathers can afford it or not. So this is the kind of vision we need to do, especially now that the country is on its knees. And you need this in all parts of the country, because every part of Nigeria is suffering from the decline in the quality of vision and commitment of its leaders. And this is the honest truth. That we prioritize this, like I said, I'm sorry to keep bringing up the PRP. In the PRP, we've done a lot of our own thinking. And one of the things we know Nigerians has to do, whether they give us the trust and power or not, somebody has to do it. We need to re-examine how can we run a successful country with the kind of low caliber, selfish, corrupt leadership that is running this country. You can never get good out of bad. You can never get good out of bad. So we need to overhaul our thinking and begin to think of the next generation. We have too many children who are not being looked after, who have no future, and they represent a threat, not just to them, but to the survival of this country. Somebody somewhere has to put an end to this rot.
Absolutely. Doctor, you've said quite a lot. The last question on the bachelor's whatever is, I asked him, what is the single biggest threat to Nigeria's survival, not even just democracy now? And unequivocally, he said it was the judiciary. That because when the executive, tries to overreach itself, I mean, Greg Montesquieu said, power corrupts, absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and that's why you have checks and balances, separation of powers. Let's say for whatever reasons, the National Assembly are in cahoots, hand in gloves with the executive. That the only institution that can pull both of them back and save the republic is the judiciary. Sir, but he says the judiciary?
It is. I agree with him entirely.
Wow.
I agree with him. Wow. Sheikh Usman Danfodio said, there's an organ in the body. Any other organ can fail. And the human body can continue. But there's an organ in the body, if it fails, there is no life. It's a heart.
Thank you for watching that video. So guys, before you leave, look at it down here. Do well to subscribe and also put on your notification bell so that whenever we upload any video in this great platform, you will be the first to see it. And please don't forget to drop your comment at the comment section what you think about this video, your opinion as well. See guys, This is where I'm going to end the video, and I will see you guys some other time.